For this assignment, by researching public speaking, like tips on public speaking, I used two websites. According to Toastmasters.org, there were a lot of speaking tips when doing public speaking. They had some, for example, as when accepting awards, delivering speeches, preparing for a speech, and more. I learned that, well, I've always known that when preparing for a speech, you must organize. And that's something that I know that I sometimes have trouble with. Organization, making sure that I'm staying on the topic and not going off the topic too much. I learned when you deliver speeches, sometimes you may deliver to a diverse audience, and you have to be mindful with using metaphors and enunciating and not speaking too fast, which is something that I'm very mindful of, but sometimes I do struggle with not speaking too fast. So hopefully I can take these tips and better prepare myself when it comes time to deliver speeches, and using these tips throughout this course. Also, from researching from mindtools.com, there was the article nearly gave the same tips as Toastmasters.org, but one tip that really caught my attention that I jotted down in my notes was to engage your audience, which would be as in to ask questions. And I've always wondered, like, how do you make your audience not feel so bored or just sitting in a seat listening to you, because eventually that gets boring, especially if the speech is long. So, um, ways to engage is to ask questions, to just plan to what you think will excite them. Um, so that's one thing that I want to take into learning what throughout this course as well. Um, so, like I stated, the tips were great, very informative. Also, to delivering a speech, there should be a purpose. The message. Never lose sight of the message that you're trying to give. Make sure you can keep eye contact and try not to talk so much with your hands, which I'm struggling with now. But be mindful of facial expressions, body posture, body language, because sometimes what when you speak to people, you shouldn't like keep your arms crossed, because people can sense that maybe you have an attitude or maybe you don't really want to deliver the speech. So that's why they say be mindful of those types of things. So also, do not use slang, and try not to be repetitive when delivering a speech, because people may not understand what certain words are for, and that's not even professional language to be delivering a speech in, regardless to what your audience is. And also be mindful of who your audience is. Is it a group of young people? Is it elder people? And like I mentioned before, your audience can be very diverse. So that's what I learned throughout my research on public speaking, and I feel as if by researching this, I can better work on myself as I continue to go through this course and learning elements of speech.